everyone, it is Brandon Foster, the owner of Magic Land Vacations, the travel planning genies. You know, we love to help families, and in this case, schools too, to help plan amazing Disney and Universal destination vacations. But today our focus is on Disney World, and today is specifically focused on Disney Imagination Campus, which is why I have the amazing and incredible Bryan with me. Hi, Josh. How are you doing today?
Good. How are you?
I'm so excited to have you here today. So Josh is one of our amazing travel planning genies who also went on several different band trips. And so when I brought Josh on board, he was really, really, really interested in making sure that we can not only plan vacations for families, but planning basically Disney World vacations and opportunities for a lot of high school bands, youth groups, choirs, performance groups, and things of that nature. So today he's here to tell all of you everything you would want to know about Disney's Imagination Campus, which is the brand new name basically for their youth programs. So I kind of gave a little bit of a hint already, Josh, but why don't you tell everybody what exactly Disney's Imagination Campus is? What is that?
Yeah, so Disney's Imagination Campus, which formerly known as Disney Youth Programs, is kind of Disney's way to partner with students all across the country to bring them into the parks to perform workshops and that nature, so we can plan for bands, choirs, Broadway groups like student Broadway groups, orchestras, pretty much anything that can perform that's part of the performing arts. It's Disney's way to bring them in to perform. There's also workshops that are available, which we'll go over too. So yeah.
That is amazing. So one of the biggest questions I have is because you can either perform or you can do workshops. So if I am, a band director, if I have, a Broadway high school group, what is the difference between performance and the workshops? How does that work?
Yeah, so the performance, there's actually two different ways you can perform at Walt Disney World. One is for marching bands only, and it's in the Magic Kingdom. So you pretty much perform about 20 minutes before the Festival Fantasy Parade once it returns, hopefully. And that way you go from Frontierland to the entrance to backstage on Main Street USA, the whole parade route, and you just perform a program of your choice as long as Disney approves of it. The other way to perform is there's a stage in Disney Springs. This is where your sit-down bands, your orchestras, your theater groups, your choirs, that's where you'll guys perform in front of, because you can't really perform in a busy Magic Kingdom park that way. Now, on the other hand, there's workshops. So these are with guest clinicians and Disney cast members. And it's kind of a way to increase your students' learning while also getting that Disney magic. So there's different workshops that focus on like performing arts, such as like you get to participate in a recording studio, other things like that, work with guest conductors. But there's also learning opportunities, like learning how Disney uses science in their parks and how to build a theme park essentially. So there's different things that interest all students across the country.
I love it. So I think one of the biggest questions people are going to have, Josh, is so they know they can take their group to Disney to either do a workshop or perform, but what are some of like the benefits and like the pluses of taking your entire youth group or organization to Walt Disney World?
So I think the biggest thing is student experience. I know a lot of schools want to focus on students' experience while they're in high school, because once they leave high school, they might not have opportunities like this. From personal experience, it's a once in a lifetime opportunity to get to perform in front of thousands of people in the Magic Kingdom during Easter break, especially. But I think just having that student experience and just increasing the learning, because as most people know, when you participate in the arts, it gets your brain flowing more, so you can do better on test scores in high school, because standardized tests are a huge big deal nowadays, and stuff like that. So just to increase the mental capacity and the learning of the students is the biggest thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, you talked about this too, but just the real world experience of performing in front of the general public. And even if they're not doing the performance piece, right? If they're doing the workshop, having that caliber of talent and direct them and teach them and help them to grow and basically fine tune more of their dance skills or singing skills or dramatic skills, whatever their skills are that they're learning with the clinicians, I think is the word you said, or the Disney cast members.
Yeah.
So something that's really important, and it's the reason why I'm so happy you're working with us, is what was it like for you personally? And I know your fiance too did this as well when she was in band. So tell everybody about your own personal experience.
Yeah, so my high school went to, when I was in high school, I performed in Disney in 2012 and 2015. 2012, we performed during the 3 o'clock parade, which back then it was When a Dream Comes True parade or something of the sort. And then in 2015, we actually got to perform at night, which was definitely a lot cooler. We weren't sweating as bad during the Disney's Main Street Electrical Light Parade. I think my favorite part about performing was going backstage, seeing what goes on backstage, because normally you would have to pay for special tours and stuff to go backstage. So just being able to go backstage, see cast members and everything, and being able to participate with all those cast members. So when you go backstage, there's actually a special area just for Disney Performing Arts for the Magic Kingdom, where there's like changing rooms, and then you get to interact with different characters backstage, along with being able to take big group pictures in front of props. And there's like huge movie like signs from all the Disney releases way back from like The Lion King. So I think that was my favorite part. My fiance also got to perform in Disney back in 2018, I believe, 2018 or 2019. So between the both of us, we performed 3 times.
That's awesome. So for people who are wondering, this sounds great, but it sounds like a huge headache planning a group of 20, 30, 100, 120 high schoolers, taking them to Disney World. How does the planning process work with Disney, and especially using a travel planning genie like yourself?
So the nice thing about using a travel planning genie like me is you can be involved as much or as little as you want to in the planning process. If you want us to take care of your application to get accepted into Disney, handle all of your meal vouchers, your resort, your tickets, we can do all that for you. Or you can also be involved in the process. So if you want to take care of the application while we do your travel accommodations, that's okay too. It's all up to the director and what exactly fits for their performing group or student group in general. So I think it's definitely a benefit to perform or to plan with a travel agency like Magic Land Vacations, because we have that expert knowledge, and we did like training and workshops with Disney's Imagination Campus too, in order to get that specialized service to you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. So, one of the things I think people don't quite realize too is that when you're planning this kind of vacation, it's a lot more than just getting accepted, because you have to have chaperones. Now you have to have park pass reservations for everybody. So that means park pass reservations for 120 people. There's specific ways to use the meal vouchers. How do you assign the rooms for everybody? How do you get the transportation? That's something else, because one of the things a lot of band directors, choir directors, people don't realize is that you can't take your band equipment on Disney's transportation. So you need to have your own transportation for your band. And most bands or high school youth groups actually travel to Walt Disney World using a bus as opposed to flying, and then use those same buses when they get there. So you take care of all of that?
Yes. And I can't speak for all the genies, but I know if you plan in my area, which is in the Northeastern Ohio area, Western PA, I'll actually be able to go to your school and do presentations with your band or choir group to explain all those things and make sure all the chaperones are on board with all that planning process as well.
Yeah, that's great. And if one of our genies is not near you, we can also do that via Zoom as well. Because one thing we learned during COVID is that we're just a Zoom call away for everybody. So that's awesome. Is there anything else, Josh, that you would think that people should know when they are thinking about utilizing one of these amazing programs through Disney Imagination Campus?
I just want to say that if you love Disney, your students love Disney, it's definitely an opportunity to partake. It's definitely not as complicated as it sounds, especially if you use us at Magicland Vacations. And yeah, you could always message me. I have tons of fundraising ideas if that's a concern, because I know some students might not be able to pay for it, some financial issues. So definitely get in touch and we'll help you through that process.
Yeah, because you know firsthand that you had to do all sorts of fundraising as a youth group to be able to afford the trip to Walt Disney World. That's amazing. Well, thank you so much, Josh, for your time today and talking to everybody about Disney's Imagination Campus. We appreciate it. And we're so excited to grant all the vacation wishes, not only of our families, but of schools too. So thank you so much, Josh.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much for watching one of our another amazing videos. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't already, so you don't miss any of our amazing new videos. We are Magicland Vacations Disney and Universal Travel Planning experts. And make sure, if you haven't already, check out our website, magiclandvacations.com. There you can schedule a consultation with one of our amazing experts. And guess what? We do way more than just Disney and Universal Vacations, so definitely want to check us out there. Also, make sure you go to our private Facebook group, Travel Genie Fan Club, where we do giveaways and trivia contests every single month. And of course, I have two other amazing videos for you to watch. One right over here and one right over there. One right there and one right there. I think I would start with that one, or maybe that one, or maybe that one.